The war with Hamas is inflicting a spiraling Palestinian civilian toll. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has disciplined a junior member of his cabinet who appeared to voice openness to the idea of Israel carrying out a nuclear strike on Gaza. It is not news that for the past half-century, Israel has had a nuclear monopoly in the region. As a U.S. nuclear submarine arrives in West Asia, here's a look at all the updates and the dangers of nuclear talk in a tinderbox region. Now, as mentioned, Israel's government has reprimanded an ultra-nationalist junior minister who advocated in an interview dropping a nuclear bomb on war-torn Gaza. Heritage Minister Amichai Eliyahu has also suspended from government meetings until further notice. Eliyahu told Israel's Kol Barama radio he was not entirely satisfied with the scale of Israel's retaliation. When the interviewer asked whether he advocated dropping some kind of atomic bomb on Gaza to kill everyone, Eliyahu replied, "That's one option." Following the outcry over his remarks, Eliyahu said in a post on X, formerly Twitter, that his statement about the atomic bomb was metaphorical. Prime Minister Netanyahu's office dubbed the remarks disconnected from reality. The Arab League chief said Eliyahu's remarks reveal that Israel possesses nuclear weapons, an open secret. Saudi Arabia criticized the Netanyahu government for not dismissing the minister. Jordan said the minister's remarks were a call for genocide and hate crime against the Palestinians. And hitting out, the UAE flagged an incitement to commit grave violations of international humanitarian law, such as war crimes. With their state born out of the Holocaust, Israelis generally embrace nuclear deterrence, even if Israeli law forbids them from acknowledging their arsenal. Estimates of Israel's nuclear holdings have not changed for years, about 80 to 90 nuclear warheads, and enough fissile material for up to 200 total warheads. Israel has a triad of delivery options via F-15 and F-16 aircraft, Jericho missiles and Dolphin-class submarines purchased from Germany and retrofitted to be nuclear capable. Israel's nuclear program was born of proliferation. In a secret deal in 1957, France agreed to provide a reactor, uranium, and a plutonium reprocessing plant at Dimona, which was supposedly for peaceful purposes. After the Charles de Gaulle became a French president in 1959, he put an end to his government's participation, but Israel managed to complete the project on its own. While the United States did not assist Israel's nuclear program, it did acquiesce to it. President John F. Kennedy forced Israel to accept U.S. inspections at Dimona, but without instruments or sampling allowed. Lyndon Johnson was less firm about non-proliferation and accepted Israel's vague assertion that it would not be the first to produce nuclear weapons to West Asia. He also accepted Israel's creative interpretation of the verb introduce. This phrase became the trademark of Tel Aviv's policy of nuclear opacity. The U.S. initially tried to force Israel to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty upon its adoption in 1968. The next year, Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir and President Richard Nixon reached a secret agreement, marking a de facto end to U.S. pressure. Nixon agreed that the Israeli bomb would be tolerated as long as Israel did not publicly acknowledge having it. All Israeli and U.S. administrations since have adhered to this understanding. Over the years, Israel's nuclear weapons have spurred several proliferation efforts. While nations seek nuclear weapons for a mixture of reasons, a desire to balance Israel's arsenal was a prime motivation for nuclear pursuits by Egypt's Gamal Nasser and in the 1960s and Libya's Muammar Gaddafi beginning in the 1980s and by Syria earlier this century. Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein also had Israel in mind when he started down the nuclear path in the 1970s. Analysts say the nuclear threat potentially posed by Iran is greater than ever. Israel's nuclear weapons have also been the main motivation for seeking a zone free of weapons of mass destruction in West Asia. Israel's nuclear program is ostensibly also the main impediment to creating such a zone. Weapons of mass destruction, chemical, biological and nuclear, have already created severe anxiety in the region. WMDs in the form of chemical weapons have already been used. The use of chemical weapons demonstrates a willingness to cross thresholds that in other geographical areas are deemed a taboo. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.